Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of WTF. Lena Moriarty here to remind you that it's important to care about basic human rights and to pass bills and laws that show this. While this is typically a lighter show, I find it necessary to address the event that occurred this past week in the most serious of manners. I would like to say that my entire heart is with those who lost their lives from the shooting, as well as everyone affected by this horrible tragedy. As many of you know, on Sunday, November 5th, a gunman walked into a church and killed over 20 individuals and injured 20 more. This is a disgusting act of terrorism on United States soil. To many, this news sounds hauntingly familiar. Just last month, 58 were killed in the Las Vegas shooting. According to Fox News, 2 of the 4 of the deadliest shootings in U.S. history have occurred over the past 35 days, 3 of the 4 over the past 17 months. It continues to happen again and again, and each time seems worse than the last. Trump's counselor, Kellyanne Conway, is speaking out against the left after the tragedy, claiming many immediately politicized it. She called the reactions calling for gun control so beyond any type of reasonable response. What is a reasonable response for a mass shooting on American soil? We do not want this to happen again, and yet it continues. We no longer need prayers or God. We need change, Ms. Conway, because whether it's a nightclub, a park, an elementary school, a college, or even a church, no one seems to be safe. We must come together instead of drift apart regarding gun control. This is not a Republican versus Democrat issue, but rather an issue regarding the safety of the American people. And just a quick PSA, a white guy can be a terrorist. Take your racism elsewhere. Continuing on with the segment, let me catch you up on the latest with the Mueller investigations. What we know so far is that Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, currently has 3 different passports, all with different identification numbers. He also had a phone and an email registered under a different name. I know a majority of us are hoping that one of his aliases is Paul Manafort, but one can only hope. With all of these different identifications, it almost seems like he's trying to hide something. More updates to come in the following weeks. And now we can announce this week's WTF moment, which goes to the Secretary of Energy, Rick Perry. Before I go on, I feel like it's an important thing to know about Rick Perry is that he used to be a member of the Texas House of Representatives as a, gasp, Democrat. Then he went on to be governor twice. He was doing so well, he decided to run for president. He failed the first time and then went for it again. Well, it didn't work out the second time either, so Perry decided to do the logical thing any promising politician would do, compete in season 23 of Dancing with the Stars. Unfortunately, he lost that as well. So luckily for the American public, he settled with becoming the Secretary of Energy. Anyways, Perry is currently having articles written about him titled, "Rick Perry says fossil fuels can help prevent sexual assault." You must be wondering, what the hell could that possibly be about? Are you talking about the man whose job is to ensure the U.S. maintains its advancements in energy? The answer is yes, I am. After returning home from his trip to Africa, he was quoted saying, "But also from the standpoint of sexual assault, when the lights are on, when you have the light that shines, the righteousness, if you will, on those types of acts." This is literally the man who is in charge of developing and maintaining the country's nuclear weapons. Besides him correlating the use of fossil fuels with preventing rape, it's also alarming that he thinks the only way to keep lights on is through using non-renewable resources. Have you ever taken a science class? While on the topic of confusing comments made by people in power, Ivanka Trump told an audience in Tokyo that sexual harassment of women at work should never be tolerated. Ivanka. If by the off chance that you're watching this, do you think you could tell your dad? While on the campaign trail, more than 10 women came forward with sexual harassment claims from Trump, yet all were dismissed. This is our president. Kevin Spacey, however, was accused of sexual misconduct this past week, and Netflix announced that they would no longer work with him. This is a fictional president on TV. Let's hold all presidents to the same standards, whether they are fictional or the actual man in charge of our free world. And overall, let's stop sexually assaulting people. And to end this week's show, I'll leave you with this. Hug your loved ones, be grateful for every moment, and never stop thinking you can change the world. It's a crazy place right now, but that doesn't mean we can't get through it together and mend what's broken. Strive towards progress and never think that your voice doesn't matter. See you all next week.